What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mexican in the Philippines. You already know, guys. I like doing these live type of videos. Reactions, a little bit of advice, or just stuff that life teaches you. If y'all like this type of content, let me know in the comments, and you know, let's keep doing it, man. Let's keep growing. Guys, I started a GoFundMe. It's in the links. If y'all want to support the cause, go check it out. All right. Um, let's take a look at this video and let's get right to it, man.
Do you ever notice how we wait to say the important things to the important people in our lives? Like, we always think, oh, when work slows down, or I'll text them later, or, I'll see them at the next gathering. I used to think like that, but not anymore. You know, one of my proudest things I have done in my life is to be a teacher of young people. And for me, I had a teacher in the third grade who inspired me to become a teacher. And I never got the opportunity to thank her. And it's one of my biggest regrets because, like, I don't know where she is now. I was like,
I think that's correct, guys. Something that we need to learn in life. Something that we need to learn in life is that time is something that we take for granted. Sometimes we don't appreciate it. We're just sometimes we're just living carefree or doing things we shouldn't, or instead of always thinking about being in the right mindset. Um, yeah, I think about stuff like this too sometimes. Like sometimes I message my dad or something. I get no reply, like till a week later or 2 weeks later. Um, but I text them, as long as I tell them, I let them know, hey, I love you, whatever. That makes me feel good on my end.
8 years old. It was like 50 years ago. We always think there's gonna be more time, and
Hmm.
the truth is, time is not promised.
You never know. You never know when you're young. You know that's why a lot of me coming to the Philippines had to do with that also. Um, well, part of it is because I was ready for a change in my life. You know, and not only that, I'm like, man, when am I gonna start like really living my life? Taking control of my life, and there's just so many other things. But we're not gonna get into all of that. But it's something that I always, thought about. There's people every day that die in accidents. There's people that, I had friends that all of a sudden they get sick and they die. Or, well, people that I know, not really friends. Um, so, stuff like that made me take the decisions that I made before, Hey, why not now? Why wait? You don't know when life has a timestamp on you.
We have no idea, you know. So swallow your pride, put your ego aside, stop what you're doing, and say the things to the people that matter.
Hmm.
Call your mom, text your friend back, tell someone they made your life better, you know, before it's too late.
Like I've been through a lot, guys, with family wise and all of that. I'm not gonna get into all of that. Um, my parents split up when I was younger, and it kind of did like it kind of did hit me hard, and all of that. It did impact my life on the way I did things, and it can impact anyone's life. It can make you take wrong decisions or stuff like that. Um, but I thank God that God gave me a good mind, a clear mind. Yes, I have made mistakes, but um, I've been strong enough to walk through the rain, even if there was no umbrella. I kept walking till the rain stopped. And, you know, I don't hold no grudges for anyone. I'm too old for that. I'm not a kid. And I don't let any type of situations or anything affect my life anymore or affect how I feel about someone, because we're all imperfect. We're all perfect. We all make mistakes. And, the love that you have for one another, that's what is most important. You know, I tell my dad I love him. I tell my mom I love them. They might not communicate a lot or whatever, but, you know, all of that is in the past. And it's just what you have to be. You have to grow as a person. And this video right here is a perfect example of a dying man.
Because if there's one thing that I have learned from dying is that regret doesn't sound like, oh, I've said too much. It sounds like silence. So that is advice from a dying guy. Take it or leave it. Bye.
It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. A lot of people, this stuff happens a lot. Egos, pride, or whatever. It's not worth it. You know, tell your family you love them. Call them. You know, if you're fighting with your sisters, whatever. Because I fought with my sister before, but we're siblings. Also with my cousins. You know, Well, growing up, I had two cousins that were my age, and we used to hang out a lot. We used to talk, go to school, and they grew up, did their own thing. We were like so close, right? Because I mean, I'll be at their house every day, blah blah blah. We grew up, and then it's like they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. They were always like hanging out with their friends, blah blah. I'm like, hey, what you doing? Like, what's up, man? Like, I get ignored. I get ignored. You know, and it's okay. A bunch of them went to jail, One of them, unfortunately, is no longer here, and thanks to this, just like this guy is saying, I never got to, get back, like catch up with him. I remember the last time he called me, RIP Isaac, man. He called, no, he was messaging me on Facebook, and I was already here in the Philippines. Yeah. He was just talking, blah, blah, called me. I was like, all right. Um, I didn't get to call him. I didn't get to call him. So, just like this guy said, stop what you're doing, call your loved ones. You know, I was busy. I was like, I was busy with life here. I was like, I'll call him later. I never, I never got to make that last call. So, this is a perfect example of life and how time has no respect for anyone. Everyone has a timestamp in this life. Only God knows, guys. Get right with God while you're here, and and call them. Call your loved ones, guys. That's it for me. All right. If y'all want to donate the cause, I got a GoFundMe and everything. All right. Share the videos, guys. Give us a like, comments. Let's come up. Let's boost.